I'll kind of show you what UCE Factory is all about. This is the company that we're representing that handles obviously wet process equipment. Behind me is the UCE Factory, roughly about 2 years old. The company's been around for almost 25 years, but this is their new factory. They've expanded their production capabilities. So today I'm going to walk you through a couple floors and show you a little bit about what UCE does and what the capabilities are for horizontal wet process equipment. The building behind me is 8 floors, 80,000 square feet per floor. So it's very extensive. And again, this is just for the wet process equipment. So there's 2 other factories. There's the VCP plating factory down the road a piece, and I hope to get a video of that too to post that later on at some point in time. But I think you guys are really going to be impressed with UCE and what they can do for you along the horizontal equipment end. And you know, their production capabilities right now is a mile of conveyorized equipment a month. And believe it or not, you're going to see that on the floor. I'm only doing 2 floors today. There's 8 floors. Obviously, I don't have time to do all 8 floors. It'd take forever. But I'm doing 2 important floors. I have my customer here with me from upstate New York. We're buying off on 5 lines today. DES line, OSP line, clean lines, and a couple other things. So that's the real reason we're here today. So I'm going to show you some of that equipment later on, stuff that's been marked for the U.S. So let's take a tour and we'll see how it goes. This is one of the main floors of the UCE factory. This is one of probably 4.5 floors that just do the wet process production. So I'm just going to walk you through one floor of this particular area because I myself have 3 lines here that are being bought off today. DES line, OSP line, and I believe the shadow line is on another floor. But I'm going to scan through the room for you just so you can see the size of this facility. And when I say they produce a mile of wet process equipment a month, you'll pretty much see that they actually do. So let me scan through. I'll take the camera at this point. So that's the DES line we're actually doing a buy off on today. It's all PLC controlled with actually a computer interface. But these are all the lines that are currently in production here at UCE. And again, each floor is 80,000 square feet. So this is one section of the building, only one section. So I'm going to walk down some of the aisleways just to show you some of the lines that we're currently working on. It's pretty amazing the amount of volume of wet process equipment that comes out of this place. I've had a really good experience here from the U.S. on buying off on a few pieces of equipment. Even UCE is quite large, but you know, the response I get from the engineering team and so forth, you know, no order is too small for UCE, believe it or not. I'm quoting a lot of small ammoniacal etches for the U.S. market and so forth. And they're very responsive and they want the business, and they like dealing with U.S. companies such as myself and you being a customer. But this is really amazing. I'm just walking you through a huge line. I have no idea what it does, but so this is a lot of the equipment actually on this floor is almost done. You can see a line right in front of us that's just about done. They have full water testing capabilities here, so you can actually run the whole machine. There's another process machine coming up that looks like it's basically done. And then we have, again, the other side of the building showing you some other process lines that are being worked on in various stages of completion. There's actually about 2,000 people that work for UCE at this facility, so it's pretty amazing how quickly they get these done. Typical delivery for UCE is 14 weeks from day to order, and they pride themselves on an on-time delivery. So here's another line we're just shooting down. It's probably one of the biggest lines I've seen. It looks like, okay, so it's a strip etch strip line. Probably Kubrick etch. There's all the main chambers. And this machine is currently under test as well. So they must be pretty close to shipping this out at this point. Quite an amazing line. It's, my God, can't even see the end of it. Amazing. And you know, here's like some equipment that's in the shipping area, believe it or not. Machines are being taken apart and shipped out to different parts of the world. And the building you were just in was one section of the building. This is the other section of the building, which is exactly the same size. Again, this one floor is 80,000 square feet. And I still have 4 more production floors just like this one to go through on this video. But it's really amazing place. We're here again with my customer buying off on a DES line heading to upstate New York. He's bought 3 or 4 pieces of equipment. But here's the line we're looking at today. This line's got a lot of you know, special options on it that the customer required. Again, DES line, you know, all digital controllers. Those are universal. You could do PSI. You could do, you know, they're changeable to our format. But this is a precision etch, what they call a precision etch technology machine. This is cupric chloride, and this also has the vacuum etch technology in the machine, which I can explain later, or if you have any questions I could certainly tell you about that. But that's something new that's just that's been out for a few years. Anyway, so this is our developing section here and so forth. So this is the line we're working on today. There's the HMI unit. Right now it's in Chinese, but it gets switched over to English quite easy. It's just a menu button. But we're going through the process anyway. This is also, you know, PC controlled, which is really nice. The customer wanted this so that, you know, at some point they can do a central download at a different part of the building. And what it does is monitor, you know, all the controls on the system, how many panels went through the system at any given time for the rest of the day, so they could check production levels, time, blah blah blah. It just goes on from there. There's an infinite amount of data you can get out of that PC, which is a really nice feature. These are the dryer sections. I really like these dryers. They really heat up a lot. They you know, I forgot what the temperature is off the top of my head, but you get an extremely dry panel out of these dryers. They're a little big, but they work quite well, and they're rugged. They're built very, very well. On this machine, there's a lot of dosing equipment and so forth that the customer required. So we're in the process of going through that as we speak. Again, there's a shot of the dryer system. Again, some training going on, and I'll go to another floor very shortly, and I'll show you another production floor with, it's got totally different equipment on it, but same thing. There we go, technical difficulties. So this is another floor of wet process equipment, in addition to what you saw earlier. Again, different pieces of equipment in various stages of completion, and different technology levels too, I might want to add. So you got about 5 or 6 lines in this room going on, and you know, I will refer back to miles of equipment per month. And again, we have 3 more floors to do, and this is the smaller out of the floors of all the equipment. Gives you a rough idea, and the room just keeps going and going and going. There's just too much equipment to film in different technology levels, you know, on all the equipment. There's some, you know, again, double-sided machines, and there's some thin core machines. And we'll talk to one of the technical guys later on, and we'll talk about, you know, thin core handling systems that UCE offers. We'll talk about a little bit about precision etch technology. This whole space just opened up this morning, so there were, well, probably about 200 feet worth of lines that just shipped out of here after their final test. So it's pretty amazing how much equipment is coming and going out of this facility, and including ours too. You know, we got 2 lines up here on this floor that we're buying off on. But as you can see, it keeps going and going. Just massive lines, massive production lines. So here's a good example. This is a space saver cabinet. I know it looks a little strange to some of us in the U.S. With having the control panel on top of the machine, but it's actually a space saver. So if you look up at this machine overall, you have just the machine. All the controls are there. Operator-friendly PLC controllers, some heater controls that monitor certain things. Everything's controlled by the PLC. And then we get into, you know, some of the European guys and US guys for that matter want the big control cabinets. So, you know, here we are looking at, you know, 2 different options that are available. Personally, I do like the space saver cabinets because you are saving space on the floor, and it's pretty compact. What I like about the UCE equipment is all this stuff with some of the other manufacturers are not included, but with this equipment, it's already here. It's already installed. It's not an option. It just comes with it. All the water saver devices and so forth are all part of the machine. So it's kind of like one price, and you're getting pretty much everything in one whack without having, you know, to pay extra for that. And I'm going to bring you down to a machine we already bought off on. And this is the McDermott LE process. It's a nice little compact line. I like it. 1 meter a minute system. Again, there's your space saver boxes. This is bound for the US. And, you know, here we go again with the control cabinets on top of the machine. There's another one. That's your HMI interface and so forth. And then, you know, at the end of the line, here's your dryer system right here. But that's the whole line for the shadow process. Here's the back side of the machine. Dosing equipment, pretty much standard. And that's really about it for this floor. I got 2 more floors to do. I don't know if I'll get them all today. And then I'm going to do a tour of the VCP factory, which is the vertical plating factory, in another day or so. So I finished my factory tour of UCE. So you see a little bit about what the factory is all about. I barely touched the surface, believe me, guys. But there's a lot more videos I'd like to do in the future. I'll be back there in another month to go over some other things, another buy-off we have coming up with another customer. But I'll be getting more into the technical aspects of the machine, which I didn't even touch on. UCE offers, you know, quite an extensive array of different types of machinery, you know, for thin core material, you know, from that technology standpoint. We showed you a little bit about precision etch technology, vacuum etch technology. You know, one of my customers said to me the other day, you know, oh, the Chinese are always chasing, you know, the European guys and the US guys from a technology standpoint on what process equipment. Being the salesman that I am, I didn't want to even go there. But in reality, I think it's time for the Europeans to start chasing UCE, because there's a tremendous amount of technology being built there at the UCE factory. They're very receptive towards customization. I seen a conveyor system that actually ran 25 micron material through a machine, and the machine was about 200 feet long, which is pretty phenomenal. Not sure that we could really touch that in the U.S. But there's a lot of other things that UCE can do for you. You're getting a very competitive price machine, and I'd like to add that UCE has also given me a tremendous amount of spare parts free of charge to store here in New Hampshire. So anybody that's worried about, oh boy, what am I going to do about spare parts? I guarantee you we have them. The list is phenomenal. They're so supportive from that standpoint. We've got pumps. I got everything in stock. I could supply a pump within 1 day. Being in the used equipment business, and I deal with a lot of wet manufacturers, as most of you probably know me. We sell a lot of wet process equipment rebuilt and used. And my biggest issue is waiting for parts. Sometimes it's 2 months waiting for parts. It forces us to do other things. But with UCE, I can guarantee you they have the parts in stock. If I don't have it here, I could get it out of China in 3 days' time. But I don't think that's going to be an issue with UCE. Again, I've got a very extensive spare parts inventory here at ETI, and I expect that will continue for turnover and so forth. The more machines we sell, the more they're willing to give us, and they're giving us a lot of spares for each individual customer. I actually have a stock room that's labeled, you know, my customer for their spare parts. But in value-wise, it's about $100,000 for the first go-around, and I expect more coming. So that's the end of my tour. That's really all I had time for. I didn't really get to the other floors, but I'll get to it eventually. But a lot of you have asked me, well, I'd really like to see that factory. So you kind of saw a little glimpse of the factory. You didn't see the whole thing, but you did see a little bit of it, which is pretty phenomenal. I don't know any other wet process equipment manufacturer in the world today that does more equipment than UCE. So I look forward to talking to you in the future. I hope I can quote your requirements for any what process equipment needs you need, and we look forward to the opportunity. Thanks for watching the video, and feel free to get a hold of ETI for any equipment. www.equiptech.com. Thank you.